Hello, thank you for joining me. I'm going to be talking about a topic that I've wanted to cover for quite a while, but I wasn't sure how it would sit with YouTube. So over the weekend, I've communicated with them and I've got the go-ahead that it should be fine. But the subject is self-harm. So if that is something that you don't want to hear about, I won't be going into any gory details or anything like that. Please dip out of this video. It will be informative rather than just over elaborating on the negativity involved with it. So if you maybe feel that it will bring up any past memories, then bye, unless you want to stay and think, yeah, I did that, yeah, that was fine. The choice is yours. I'm being open and honest at the beginning. If you should happen to be thinking about the possibility of hurting yourself in any way, just one word: don't. Do not do it. It's easy to slip into it and for it to take over and become far more serious. Easy to get into and difficult to stop. So just remember, do not do it. I shall nag you. So why do people do it? For many of us, for most of us, it seems a balmy thing to do. Why hurt yourself? Very, very often the reason that people give is that their mind, their emotions are in turmoil. They can't do anything to control it. But by harming, by hurting themselves, they have control over that, and it gives them an external pain on which they can focus. So there's lots of different ways. Obviously, cutting is one that people hear most about. But you might find that somebody you know is actually self-harming and you don't realise, because they will do it where it doesn't show. And just things like pulling and pulling round your nails to make them sore and make them ugly at the same time. Not eating well, overeating. So for me, I nearly said dyslexia, anorexia, bulimia, they can have elements sometimes of self-harm in them, that they're driven to do it because of stuff that's going on in here. Not in every case, but in lots. What else? Well, going without sleep, over-exercising, running and running and running and running. Okay, if you're training for something, but if you're not and you just do that, then that can be hurtful to you. Smoking, if you're knowingly understanding that you are harming yourself by smoking, again, would that be considered self-harming? Or binge eating, as I said, and those can easily have other labels put on them. So when people came to me who were harming, my first question was, are you tending yourself properly? Are you checking that any cuts are clean covered. And if there's any concern, I want you here and now to faithfully promise that you will go to the doctor. And that had to be a firm agreement, not just a yes, I will. It had to be a promise. And it's very hard to just cut off whatever you're doing. It has to be gradual. And if possible, replaced by something else, as something that isn't harmful. And I go back to the old rubber band here, that having a rubber band on your wrist and flicking it, that helps some people, but others said, well, no, because I can't see anything. So then red felt tip pen and the rubber band, and gradually easing out with support. You can't just say, right, just do that and you'll be fine. You need to have some support put in there so that they can talk through their concerns, their worries, and what triggered it and what's going on up here now. So if somebody tells you that they are self-harming, what would be your reaction? I think for many it would be, oh, don't be so stupid. What a stupid thing to do. And you know, that really could be hurtful, because to that person at that moment in time, it feels like the most sane and sensible thing to do, because it's something over which they have control. And control is a big issue. So instead of that, listen. Ask questions like, have you spoken to anybody, a medical person, about this? What are you doing to help yourself? And often if it's a younger person, and sadly in many cases it can be, do your parents know? Because parents can be the first line of keeping tabs on not having things around that might be used for the hurting, but having things ready available that might help afterwards. So it's a very, very big minefield, and self-harming in its many, many variants is much more common than most of us believe. It helps with keeping paddling under the water and going along through life, because it will, for most people, be a very carefully guarded secret. A secret that is hurting, is damaging them. So don't judge people who self-harm. Don't think that they are stupid. They have just reached the point at which they need to try something that they think will work, but it's something that just makes things in the long term worse. Might be short term relief and release, but long term it's hard to get rid of. And in fact, I had one client who, he used to cut, and years ago he'd smoked, and he said, well, I've started smoking again. So I said, well, do you get as good a fix from the smoking as you do from any other activities? And he said, yes. So we went with him starting smoking again. because it's easier to stop somebody smoking than to stop them harming. We'd stopped him smoking before and it had worked. So it can be very, very complex. So don't judge. Care and be supportive. Bye for now, and take the best care of yourself and those around you that you possibly can. Bye for now, and I'm hoping that YouTube were correct and that this will get past the algorithm and that there hasn't been anybody upset by what I've said. Take care. Bye for now. Bye.